Good afternoon, guys. How y'all doing? So, back at the Mustang project today. We're still waiting on the fittings to build the fuel system and the energy to deal with the wiring. So I think for today we're going to kit out the throttle body and maybe grind down the Holley EFI letters, get them looking nice and pretty. And besides that, maybe we'll run the injector wiring because that's easy enough, and maybe see if we can modify the rest of the wiring to work. Maybe we'll pull the throttle cable out too. Try to get enough things done to keep y'all entertained. But first things first, I think we're gonna mask off and sand down those letters. Try to get them to a decent polish. So let's get it started. Okay, so I'm working on the hood of my truck because I haven't built my workbench yet, but you'll probably be seeing that in an upcoming video. The stuff I'm going to be using to do this properly, at least in my eyes, some masking tape. I'm going to mask up a pretty big area just so if I get a little wily and lose control, I don't nick my finish because I like the black. I'm thinking this paint's not super thick, so I'm going to start with a 1000, go to a 1 to a 2 to a 3, and then I'm going to polish it. Can't find my squirt bottle, but a regular bottle of water, you kind of wet it down, and I got some finishing polish to kind of smooth it out at the end. It's going to get a little messy probably, but it's alright. We can clean her up. If any of y'all done this out there, let me know how you liked it. I think I'm going to do a few layers of this. Man, I really wish I had taken a picture. I'll take one with it masked up, I don't care. Yeah. Truly worst case scenario is I take it to my buddy and have him sandblast it, and I powder coat the whole thing and do it a color that I choose instead of either black or natural, which I originally I wanted the black, then I wanted the natural finish, but the black got put on back order and the natural got put on back order. I ended up actually reaching out to a buddy of mine and had him call some of his Holley dealer connections to find this for me. And he found it sitting in a warehouse somewhere. The box had basically gotten destroyed, so it shipped in a separate box. They actually had to go and manually check these stamped in part numbers to verify what it was. But they had everything, all the accessories, all the bolts, and I got it for, full price, but I was willing to pay a little extra to get it quicker. Use this mask. I'm really only be working at kind of an angle there, so that should be good. Now I see a lot of people scratch their projects to mess things up. You have to have these very well centered or you're going to scratch your shit. I always do it face down like that. Now it's on. So my aeromotive order for my fittings, so give you guys a little timeline. We'll be here, or estimated to be here on the 12th. So that means that's probably when I'm going to start pulling out my intake, or excuse me, my fuel tank, my stock fuel lines, and we'll definitely get some real progress then. But at this point, I just don't see a purpose. I don't see a reason to pull them out without having anything to replace them with. I'm hoping my fender mat is sticky enough to hold this in place for me. All right, let's get to it. Gotta clean it up every once in a while to kind of see what you need to tackle. I'm gonna change pads. This 1000 is pretty toasted, but we're getting pretty close to where I'm happy with it. Slow boop. That's what we kind of got so far. Definitely needs, polished up, but a lot of people would be happy with just that. But I'm not. So we're gonna go up to 3,000 and polish. So let's move on to 2,000. Good. Now, you're gonna have to clean this up with something actually good other than a bottle of water and a filthy microfiber to really see how it looks. But it's definitely getting pretty good. So I think I'm probably about to move on to the 3,000, but I want to clean it up a little better to get an idea of what I'm working with. McGuire's Hyperdresser works good for everything, and it smells good. It's definitely coming out pretty good. This is after the 2,000 pass. You see, scratches are getting pretty minimal. If you're gonna do this yourself, I would probably recommend taping off a little closer, unless you got a pretty steady hand. I've got a pretty steady hand, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, let's move to the 3000. And most of the time, I would usually do this with a sanding block and do it by hand. But I just kind of wanted to bulk this out, get it taken care of. You know, you're not going to get, I can't say you're not going to get a better result. You will, I think you will notice a difference if you did it by hand, but it's going to take a lot longer. And for something like this, I'm not too worried about it, so. Okay, let's see how the 3000 came out. Don't get dirty. You're gonna get stuff dirty doing this. It just happens. Looks pretty good. We're gonna go straight into polishing. Remove the scuffs. And now I'm not going for, you know, a mirror finish. For a mirror finish, you're going to need clay bars and better tools. I'm just going for shiny. Really, I could pull it off now, cleaned up a little better, and it would look good. But, why not? If you're going to do something overkill, you might as well do it super overkill, am I right? Since I'm done sanding, I'm going to pull the tape off so I can have a little bit less filth flying around in my stuff. Now you don't want to buff too much of the paint around it, because there's a pretty good chance it'll be a different sheen. So you're going to want to try to keep that reined in a little bit. Man, I like it as it is, but I'm going to go a little bit more. See if we can get a little better. You definitely don't want to just start your polisher with your polish, because it is going to get everywhere. Absolutely. And I guess if any of you guys are wondering where I got this polisher, it's a janky Tack Life polisher. It's heavy. It feels pretty good. It does a good job. It's like 40 or 50 bucks on Amazon. Not a sponsor. brand new microfiber. And now, lost my train of thought. You know, normally on something you're going to polish, you're going to want to use something a little bit better, I guess, than just a AutoZone $1 for a bag microfiber. But since I'm just going for white instead of, or I guess silver instead of painted black, these are just fine. Okay. So let's take a look-see. I'm not sure how it comes across on camera, especially with that glare, but didn't come out too bad for 20 minutes of work. Alright, so now I think we're going to dress out the throttle body, maybe add my cable bracket, put it in back in the bay. Let's do that now. With the 351 high ram, it uses an LS style throttle body, so I'm using the Holley Sniper 102 millimeter. It'll do the 105, but I'm not going to pay almost, I think it was like a $300 difference between the 105 and the 102. So, that being said, I didn't have any LS screws. I found online, on Amazon, a place called IF Billet. $10, they sent me the throttle body and throttle position sensor screws. Now I know for 2 screws, terrible deal, but for not having to leave my house, that's a pretty good deal. So, I've got this throttle cable bracket, was from Motion Raceworks, designed for the low car, or lock car, I'm not actually sure how it's pronounced. Made for their throttle body, should be this one, which I like. Or made for their throttle cable rather, not throttle body. Well, I appreciate everybody stopping by for this installment. We're gonna be hitting it real hard pretty soon. We're just waiting on a couple of parts. as for today, you know, we got the letters smoothed out. I polished up one fender. But, you know, if you make a little bit of progress every day, eventually it gets done. And, you know, I only spent about an hour, 2 hours at most, got a few little things done here and there, and that's one or two more hours I don't have to do later. So, you know, just gotta take steps every day. But with that being said, we're gonna call it a night, and we will see you guys in the next installment. Have a great night.